evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel Wisdom Walk 2 Self Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojapa Maria Ensaroma, and October is the final Earth month of 2020 as we continue our navigation through the final quarter of this mind-blowing, life-changing, historic year. In the Southern Hemisphere, it is a time for planting seeds, and in the Northern Hemisphere, it is a time for the harvest. As you have sown, so shall you reap. So this month, we focus our attention on remembering this cosmic truth and consciously choosing love over fear. Through four live broadcasts and accompanying videos, I'll provide you with wisdom and insights on how to show up and be the light. Continuing this week with reminder number 2, you are an energetic being. But first, just a reminder, when I am broadcasting live, you can listen to this broadcast over your phone at the following number, which is area code 563-999-3089. And I will upload a video of this broadcast on Tuesdays to my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self Mastery. And you can ask questions or share comments on my Facebook page, Wisdom Walk Radio, or my website, which is www.wisdomwalk2selfmastery.com, or in the comments section below the YouTube video. But right now, I invite you to sit or lay back and join me for an exploration of the inner landscape, where we can connect to our souls and discover the true treasure of being human. Well, we have arrived at one of the most powerful weeks of the year. We've had several of them, but this week is one. So I am definitely going to start us off, as I do every week, by first honoring the ancestors, those who have come before us, those upon whose shoulders we are standing, and also in special remembrance of all the people who have died in 2020, of course, because of the COVID virus, but also people who have died from the cancers, the heart attacks, the suicides, and other forms of death that is the reality of our living here on the earth plane. So I asked you to think about those folks who have crossed over recently or from your past, and speak their names aloud. They really appreciate that. And remember, they really, really want to help us. They want us to win. So we're going to call on them because we need all the help we can get, especially this week. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the One, all that is, we thank you. We thank you, thank you, we thank you for your blessing and mercy in our lives and for yet another opportunity to open up to your greater will. And Creator, this year you have brought us many, many opportunities to grow our capacity for change, for adaptation, for creativity. And we are still not finished, so we call upon you and ask you to give us access to the guidance, the wisdom, and love from our ancestors. And so I call out to them, ancestors, 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 please come and be the right guides for us at this tumultuous time of great change, of radical change. And help us open up our hearts, first of all to ourselves, but then to everyone else on the planet, because we are all in this together. Help us to take a deep breath and let go of the fear, let go of the pain, know that we can transform all of that into a loving energy, a glorious energy that will carry us forward into the new world, the new age that we are being brought to. And ancestors, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And Creator, we thank you too in the name of all that is holy. I say amen, ashe ahoasa, shinga bismillah, and so it is. Ashe. Now, elementally and astrologically, we have some interesting stuff going on, important stuff going on. So my video this week may run a little long because I really do want to just get through enough of it in as simple a manner as possible. So I will do it. I don't want to rush through, but I want to take my time enough for you. But just giving you a heads up, this may go to 40 minutes tonight. We'll see. So starting off with the elemental wisdom, we are currently in a fire week. It started on the 7th of this month, and the elemental week begins on the first day of the week that January 1st fell upon, which was a Wednesday this year. And so we're in this fire week. It'll last until the 13th, this Tuesday. And then on Wednesday the 14th, we shift into a mineral week, which is really, really good and important when you hear what's coming up astrologically. So here's the opportunity for the mineral week. It's about remembering your purpose, meaning your higher purpose, allowing the power of love to remind you of whom you truly are, what you really want to do, have, and be in your life. Follow your heart and soul and take the necessary risks to experience your true power and uniqueness. Distractions to be on the lookout for. 1, choosing to stay in confusion. Yeah, confusion is a choice. And so even though you may not have the clarity, you can ask for it and receive it. Next, engaging in melodramas, and you know what I mean. The best way to engage in melodrama is to watch them on a Netflix, sitcom that you can binge in. Dealing with that stuff in real life, not a good use of your time and energy. Third, take on problems and challenges that you have the ability to tackle, but which are not for you to do because they are not in alignment with your higher purpose. Again, just because I may have the ability to do something or understand something doesn't mean it's what I'm supposed to do. I may need to just step aside and allow others to figure it out. Next, that fear of failure, that can get us into real trouble around our purpose, because your purpose comes with experiences of failure so that you can learn. So it's not about failure even, it's about this is the way you have to learn. So we can choose to let go of that fear of failure that could block us from taking the necessary risks to be in alignment. And last but not least, procrastination. Now, procrastination isn't about I'm waiting because it's not the right time. Procrastination is fear, okay? It's fear-based. It's about coming up with reasons for why you can't do what it is you really can do. So, next week on the 20th, we begin an Earth Week, which will be a time to be generous, and I'll remind you all about that in the next broadcast and video. Now, moving right into astrology. I had to kind of condense it into a big message because there's just so much. But I condensed it into a big message, and that big message for this mind-blowing astrological week is radical change is inevitable. I'm only laughing because, there's still, after everything that has happened this year, there are still people thinking that the change isn't going to last or it's not real, whatever. But this week, we are going to get energies that are going to help us really get it, that it's here, it's inevitable. And so we can move on to really accepting it and making something of it that is beneficial, that is generative, that is moving us into a new age. Yeah. So just a reminder again, Saturn-Pluto conjunction that has been going on since January 12th. I love Astro Butterfly's interpretation that this is brought us all of this testing so that we can really embrace resilience, embrace our resilience and grow our capacity for resilience. Yeah, to realize that, oh wow, we had to shut down, but we did shut down and we came through that, and it's still not time to go back, if there is any going back, right? But it's still not time to move about and do things from, oh, I just want to do this or I just want to do that. We really have to think about what is essential. What is essential? Because we're still in the midst of a global pandemic. And so, we are still being asked to accept and understand that we are getting through it. Let's do it, though, in a loving way, in a compassionate way, in an understanding way, rather than with anger and denial and how can I say? Blaming others. Right. Yeah, definitely. So, having said that, during this month, again, we're being reminded to be flexible. This is what we were told in March. Be flexible, adapt, and be in conscious gratitude so that we don't fall victim to all this disruptive energy of the 2020 transit. Now, this week, I'm going to add to that list of what postures to take, and I'm going to throw in forgiveness, acceptance, compassion, and compromise. I'll say that again. Forgiveness, acceptance, compassion, and compromise. Yeah, this is what will help us get through this upcoming week. We've got something going on, folks, every day of the week into next Sunday, starting with today, October the 11th, and it'll last until the 18th. We have the Sun squaring Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, and they're all in the sign of Capricorn. Now, let me jump back and explain to you that a square and an opposition in astrology means conflict. A square is intense conflict. Opposition is where you have, two astrological signs diametrically opposed to each other. Okay, the complete opposites, right? So that brings in that kind of, conflict, opposition with each other. That's what's going on this week. We get a little bit of a help with a sextile, which happens on the 12th. So tomorrow we get Jupiter sextiling Neptune, and that means that your intuition is going to be up. Yeah. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to it. And follow your intuition. I would add to that, call on those ancestors. Let them help you. They want to help you. Now, from the 13th through the 14th, Mercury is going retrograde. This will be the final retrograde of 2020. It's retrograding in Scorpio, and it'll be there until November the 3rd. Now, remember that a retrograde season does come with it, don't do this, don't do that, but ultimately it's about you're being given a pause. You're being given a time to stop, to think about, okay, what have I learned over the last 3 months? Or 4 months? What have I learned over the last 4 months? Let me think about that. Where am I now? Where do I want to get to? How do I want to get there? This is a time for consideration. It is not a time to take on making grandiose decisions unless there's something in front of you that you do have to decide in this time. But even doing that in a very mindful, loving, compassionate way. But otherwise, hold off. Hold off, because this truly is a time for us to consider. It's almost like, with children, how you try to get children to stop and think. Well, that's what the universe is saying to us. I need you to stop and think before you make that decision, before you decide what is next for you or somebody else. If you're in a leadership position in any form, you need to be considerate of others. So this is a pause time coming up. And on the 16th, we get a new moon in Libra. Now, normally a new moon is a great time, right? Because it's a new beginning. But this one's got a little twist, because even though Libra is all about harmony, balance, right? It's square to Saturn and Pluto. Yeah, you just can't get rid of these guys. I mean, they are just committed this year to I'm going to help you with upheaval, with disruption, with breakdown, break up, so you can get your breakthrough. So, Astro Butterfly says this is one of the most difficult new moons of the year, but it's one that is the most action-packed also. She said, nobody said it will be easy, We need stress, we need adrenaline, and we need a little push to take action. So yeah, that's the kind of new moon that we have coming up. So there you have it. Every day this week, starting today, we've got some major astrological aspects going on. Again, it's all designed to grow us. It's all designed to get us moving out of what wasn't working, folks. Let's remember that. And it hasn't been working for a long time. So again, I wish you a lot of patience, a lot of compassion, a lot of being still and being considerate and thinking before you leap. I will put in my video the links to the astrologers and the websites that I've referenced in what I just shared with you. But yeah, it's going to be quite a week, but we can make it. We can make it if we remember that we can go into forgiveness, have that compassion, consider, definitely accept what is real, not go into denial, and then again, compromise. And compromise doesn't mean we give our power away. Compromise means that we look for the win-win in a situation, and that's what grown-up, mature, self-actualized, self-mastering people do. Ashe. Now, just another reminder that on the 22nd, we will have an Earth Day. Yes, we will have an Earth Day. And again, I hope you're continuing to be mindful of cutting down on the use of paper and plastic and the use of your fossil-fueled car, and committing to essential use only. As always, I ask you to go to the Earth Day website, flashing the website on the screen now, www.earthday.org, and go to the section Today's Action to become more familiar what you can do as an individual to make sure that our planet continues to be around in a good way, because we can, not like we're going to destroy the planet, but it will still be around, but it might not be around in a good way for that 7th generation. So we don't want to see that happen. Do your part. It really, really makes a difference. Shay. Okay, on to what I want to talk with you about tonight, which I'm so excited for. I love talking about light working and being the light. And it's interesting that my theme for this month, I saw that Eckhart Tolle, if you don't know who he is, Googling, the New Earth, but he's also doing an online course to help people become very mindful about being the light. So, and I highly recommend his work. He's just genius. I see him as a walk-in. He just channels so beautifully, so cleanly. So just know that you can find Eckhart Tolle's program to support you in this work about being the light. So here's my overview. I'm going to talk again, give you a little review on being a light worker, and then we're going to talk about your energetic essence. And then, of course, I'll give you some contemplative questions. My opening quote for tonight, again, comes from James Redfield, author of the Celestine Prophecy, who I'll be quoting all month. And this week, he says, "The basic stuff of the universe at its core is looking like a kind of pure energy that is malleable to human intention and expectation in a way that defies our old mechanistic model of the universe, as though our expectation itself causes our energy to flow out into the world and affect other energy systems." Yes, thank you, James, for that. So on being a light worker, again, just going to go down my list that I pulled from Rebecca Campbell. Flash her website on in the description box below. And what I pulled from her is, a light worker is anyone who devotes their life to being a bright light in the world. They understand that their actions, no matter how big or small, have the potential to raise the vibration of the planet. A light worker is a soul awake, awakened conscious that their presence matters, that they are part of something bigger than themselves. Lightworkers are not just tie-dye wearing hippies and healers with dreads. Far from it. They are teachers and chefs, writers and singers, producers and cleaners, mothers and mediums. They're at the country club and the nightclub, in the cafe and the crochet, the boardroom and the art room. And lastly, a lightworker is someone who makes a conscious decision to endeavor to answer the call of source, which is light, over the call of ego, which he says is fear. And I call that the ability and the capacity to choose love over fear. And boy, do we need that at this time. So important. So, your energetic essence. Let's understand this, because it is important here at the dawn of the 21st century that we are not questioning the fact that we are energetic beings. Okay? And here's why. Ancient knowledge has, always believed that we're energetic beings, and as a result, we have some health systems that are based on that. One is the chakra system from India, and another are the acupuncture points from China. Also, all indigenous spirituality, whether that's Africa, Australia, Europe, and the Americas, is all about energetic reality. Now, during the Age of Enlightenment, or also called the Age of Reason, in the 17th and 18th centuries in Europe, when the sun never sets on the British Empire and Europeans had decided they would conquer the globe and foist upon everybody their way of thinking and believing, right? Carrying forth that dominance mentality. At that time, what happens is materialism becomes the dominant focus, and spirituality is labeled immaterial, a lesser reality, and eventually considered no reality at all. And if you're a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, as I am, if you watch the third one, To World's End, in the very beginning, and I'm forgetting the name of the guy who runs the Indian company, but he says to Davy Jones, the immaterial has become immaterial. And so this is like symbolism for how the corporations were now taking over, and they needed to squash out any power people could draw from knowing that they were energetic beings. So, but as the universe would have it, you can't keep the truth down. And so at the dawn of the 20th century, we have Albert Einstein, and again, standing on the shoulders of those who came before him. But he shares this equation that significantly helps to dissolve the disbelief in the unseen and the unknown. And of course, I'm talking about the most famous equation on the planet, E equals mc squared. And what does that mean? That means that energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. And on the most basic level, this equation says that energy and mass, which makes up matter, are interchangeable. Yeah, they are different forms of the same thing. And this is why and how we have computers, cell phones, and Bluetooth-equipped cordless headphones. Yeah. So that disambiguation, that's it, which means removal of ambiguity, removal of things not being clear, around what is energetic being, happened when Einstein really opens up the world to understand nuclear existence and getting into then quantum existence. So now that we can once again accept that we are energetic beings, you're probably asking, so how does that translate into being a light worker and your daily living? Well, just like you care for your physical self, you must also care for your energetic self. Imagine that. Yes. Now, we do this consciously to a pretty good degree, but as light workers, we must do it consciously and daily, because we must practice accessing inner peace. Yeah. So what do I mean by inner peace? I mean it's a state in which there is clarity, confidence, and courage as a result of the absence of fear. Another movie analogy, if you are into Lord of the Rings and the final movie, Return of the King, and a wonderful scene where Aragorn has to go into the Mountain of the Dead, and he does this swagger into the Mountain of the Dead saying, "I do not fear death." That was coming out of a moment of inner peace because he was clear. He was clear, he was confident, and he was courageous. Yeah, so that's what I mean by inner peace. I'm not talking about like if you have been trying to get revenge on someone and you achieve that, then you feel like, yeah, I'm good now. See, I won, or I got him back, yeah. That may be momentary, but it's not going to last. And there's a wonderful, wonderful ancient saying that says, when you do revenge, it's like picking up a hot coal to throw at someone, meaning you're going to get burnt. And again, like I said, it's not lasting, it's not generative. So that's not the inner peace I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that's very generative, very lasting, very eternal, very timeless, very timeless. So here are 4 cosmic laws about the nature of energy, and then I'll talk about how you can apply that to getting to and maintaining that inner peace. Number 1, energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be transformed. Number 2, energy cannot be contained. It needs to flow or it will explode. Number 3, energy can be interchanged and exchanged between persons, things, ideas, and situations, but only by choice. Yeah. And number 4, energy is mutable. It is not fixed. So what does that mean? Number 1, energy can't be destroyed, but it can be transformed. Take time daily to sense your energy state. Is it negative? Is it positive? Are you feeling love? Are you feeling fear? Now, if you're feeling fear or negativity, just pray to have it transformed. If you're feeling positive, you're feeling love, then you pray for it to be sustained. Or if it's lost, that it be restored as quickly as possible. Okay? Number 2, with energy needing to flow, take time daily to be aware of the energy that you are putting out to others and the energy that you are taking on from others, knowing that you have a choice. Yes, you want to shift up what's not bringing you authentic inner peace. And again, like I said, revenge or other negative kinds of pursuits will not bring you true inner peace. Number 3, with energy being exchanged, but by choice, take time daily to notice with whom and what you are exchanging energy the most. If this isn't bringing inner peace, commit to learning why this is your most active energy change and make a commitment to shift it up. Now, this is really hard work. It does take time, but believe me, it is worth it. Because the energy you may be exchanging that isn't beneficial to you, it's working so that you finally get tired of that and say, you know what, this isn't working. I need to shift this up. I need to make a move, or I need to make another decision. I need to have a courageous conversation, whatever. So again, like I said, that one's hard, but it is definitely possible. And then number 4, about energy being mutable. Because it is mutable, that means high energy will go low, but low energy will go high. Yeah. Now, holding on to negativity or being in fear of losing happy times will result in emotional and physical outbursts. Yeah, that's when you hear about somebody just exploded. That's because they're not holding resentment in, right? Or if they're so afraid, they had a good time, right? Or you had a good experience with a new partner, and you don't want it to end, so you start to become attached, right? You go into that codependency. Ultimately somebody's going to explode. It's just not going to work. So here's what we can do. We can commit to lengthening our high energy times using generative things, and that means no substances or addictive activities, right? Stay away from drugs and alcohol, even the marijuana. Stay away from the shopping and the gambling and the indiscriminate sex, right? No. You want to really do that, what you create within and for yourself, for which you receive loving support and which you're aligned with higher purpose. The longer you practice staying in higher energy, when, not if, the low energy period comes, you will be more able to shift up faster and in a more loving state of mind. Let me give you a great example. For me, I get into a flow when I'm playing the piano, when I'm writing, when I'm producing these weekly broadcasts and videos. So that's a use of my time that is important for me to do to keep me in a higher state of energy. And we can all have that. And I have more things, of course, like talking to a friend who really gets it, not somebody who's going to be trying to drain my energy, but somebody who I'm on par with. That's really important too. So again, you need to know these things for ourselves and to do them so that we can maintain our inner peace or access it as much as possible, more so than the negativity, and to realize that doing this is actually raising the vibration of everyone around you, and most importantly, of our planet. So here's the contemplative exercises for this week. Number 1, how often do you experience feeling your inner peace? Number 2, when you feel at peace within, what are you doing? What's happening around you? And what supports that peacefulness? Yeah. And last but not least, what can you do on a daily basis to ensure that you experience at least 15 minutes of inner peace every day? Yeah. I will list these personal challenges into the description box below my YouTube video. I'll also post it on my Wisdom Walk radio page. And also, I keep forgetting to mention that I do have a group on Facebook called Wisdom Walk Supporters, and you can go on there and ask for permission to join into the group, and I will give you permission. And also I post things there that sometimes I don't post on the page. Also, if you haven't already, I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the bell for all postings, and again, I am humbly grateful for you to do that. Thank you. Okay, we are closing out. Only 5 minutes over. First of all, to thank my wonderful engineer, Miss Yvette Parker, and the entire Be Well Black Hole Radio family for, again, just their loving commitment to make sure that I can be here every night with you, every Sunday with you, to do this important work. And to one of my fans I just learned about who's listening to my broadcast is Miss Susan Nietzsche in Milwaukee, and thank you, Susan, for sharing that. And I so appreciate you in my life. Thank you. And of course, I want to acknowledge my number one fan, Miss Sarah, who believes in and shares her spiritual energy, oh my goodness, with everyone that she meets. And also when she is not feeling at her best, she finds a way to still be in service to the light. Remarkable. To all of those who have wisdom walked with me, and you know who you are, to my family and my spiritual kin, today is my nephew's birthday. Happy birthday, Philip. To my transformational leadership colleagues, my medicine brothers and sisters around the world, and those who may be listening in for the first time. Thank you so much. I couldn't do this without your listenership and support. Next week, I will continue my October theme of Show Up and Be the Light with You are divinely created. Yeah. The book, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Ancient Wisdom for Transforming Pain, available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Kindle. The Thrift Book, I also know it's on through Walmart and other places that you can access books these days. And last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. Please have a very, very healthy, happy, and wise Mineral Week, remembering your purpose. Of course, continue to wear your mask. Continue to wash your hands. Continue that social distancing and safe relating. Avoid perceived safety. Embrace science safety. And most important, do remember, you are not disposable. You are divine. Good night now.